A Kentucky representative by the name of Dan Johnson ended up committing suicide. Now, he was being accused of molesting an underage girl, and this man had paraded himself as such a Christian, and he's a pastor, and we want to get into details about him, but let's roll the clip.
This bridge behind me is where investigators say Representative Dan Johnson appears to have committed suicide tonight. This comes just one day after Johnson denied allegations of sexual molestation. Bullitt County Sheriff Donnie Tinnell says Johnson shot himself on the bridge once under his chin. This happened in Mount Washington in a rural area off Grinnell Ford Road. Investigators say Johnson drove his SUV, a Ford Escape, over the bridge, pulled over, stood in front of the SUV, and shot himself one time. A deputy tells us someone saw Johnson's post on social media and called 911. Law enforcement then pinged his phone, which led them to this general area. They discovered his body near the bridge on the bank of the Salt River. An autopsy will be performed in the morning, but tonight law enforcement officials are calling this a tragedy. Reporting live in Bullitt County, Sarah Sideri, WDRB News.
Sarah, thank you. Meanwhile, hours before Representative Johnson reportedly took his own life, he made this post on Facebook. It says in part, "I love God and I love my wife, who is the best wife in the world. My love forever. My mom and dad, my family, and all 5 of my kids and 9 grandchildren." He continued later in his post saying, quote, "I cannot handle it any longer. It has won this life, but heaven is my home."
You may remember it was just yesterday when Representative Johnson denied accusations that he molested a child. WDRB's Kyle Mitchell is live at the Heart of Fire City Church in Louisville, where it allegedly happened. Kyle.
Adrian, Representative Dan Johnson denied the accusations yesterday right here at his church. On Monday, the chairman of the Republican Party of Kentucky called on Representative Dan Johnson to resign. It came after a report emerged accusing him of sexually molesting a 17-year-old girl in a church basement in 2012. Just yesterday, Johnson responded to those claims at the Heart of Fire Church, where he was a pastor.
This allegation concerning this young girl, absolutely has no merit. I'm not standing here today to step down or to resign or to do anything like that. There's a lot of people that are willing to jump to judgment without any proof.
Johnson was never criminally charged in the case. Johnson added that politics was behind the accusation. Reporting live outside the Heart of Fire Church, Kyle Mitchell, WDRB News.
All right, thanks, Kyle. And a reaction was quick to come from lawmakers and Kentucky's governor tonight, Matt Bevin, saying, quote, "Saddened to hear of tonight's death of Kentucky Representative Dan Johnson. My heart breaks for his family tonight. These are heavy days in Frankfort and in America. May God indeed shed his grace on us all. We sure need it." Acting Speaker of the House David Osborne tweeted this, saying, quote, "It is with great sadness that we have received confirmed reports of the passing of Representative Dan Johnson this evening. Please keep his family in your prayers during this incredibly difficult time."
If you enjoy the engaging news and information we present on this channel, would you consider partnering with us on Patreon? Your support helps us to remain your go-to source for news and commentary for only $2 or $5 per month. That's less than a cup of coffee. During the YouTube ad crisis, we faced the horrible idea that our show would have to be shut down. But it was great people like you that made the difference and helped to save our show. We want to give a huge thank you to every difference maker that supported us on Patreon, and make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Now, this man says that he is a so-called pastor and a Christian, a father of 5, and he is preaching in church, and they call him the Pope also. But what is a so-called preacher doing molesting an underage girl? Now, what made him come to prominence, he ran in 2016 and won over an incumbent Democrat. He made headlines because he compared Barack and Michelle Obama to monkeys. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, he was a white supremacist. And when we hear things like this happen to white supremacists, we don't shed a tear. We aren't sad about that, not here, because he can use his position to terrorize black people. Now, This guy that's a so-called Christian, and how can you be a Christian and a white supremacist at the same time? You can't do that. And these people run around here saying they're Christians, like in Alabama, but yet you'll support an accused pedophile. You're a Christian, but you'll support racism. You're a Christian, but you support someone say, well, a good time in America was slavery. I mean, that's why I say these people aren't capable of following the scriptures. That's why they have created an idol called white Jesus, because white Jesus is nothing but an idol that was fashioned after Greek mythology. And yet they want to say that's Jesus, but that's a totally different video. Now, this so-called father of 5, married for 30 years, you had a young girl that was at their home, and she was sleeping at the bottom in the basement at the New Year's Eve party. She says she woke up and she saw the guy standing over her, and he was whispering in her ear. He put his tongue in her mouth and his hands down her pants and said that she would like it. Now, she definitely told her parents about it. They reported it to the police, and the police claimed that, well, we dropped the investigation because she wouldn't cooperate. But she says not one time has she ever not cooperated with the police. She never said to end the investigation or anything. They ended it on their own. And probably because this guy has connections. You know how it is. When guys have connections and power, they try to make things go away. They know how to control the police departments. They're real good, the police chiefs, that sort of thing. So this woman brought it up again. Now, she's 21 years old now. But this guy was so guilty because he knew exactly what he did, because there's nothing but a guilty conscience. That's why he went on the side of the road and took one shot and killed himself. I always tell people, if you did nothing wrong, then there's no reason to feel guilty. If you did nothing wrong, there's no reason to resign a job. If you did nothing wrong, fight like hell. That's what I say. But I believe he did it because he killed himself. It's just that simple. And we're going to keep seeing more and more and more and more of them be exposed. This is a time of exposure, and all of it's coming out. Now, do I believe every last person has done the things they're being accused of? No, not all of them, because they got some opportunities that would take a time period to destroy people. And then that lessens the people that actually went through something. But if you haven't done nothing, fight it, because you couldn't say nothing about me because I know what I do. And there'll be a lie from the pit of hell, and I'll fight you and sue you at the end of the day for lying on me, trying to ruin my reputation. But these guys don't operate like that, because a lot of these guys do questionable things. These guys know they say things they don't have no business, and touching women they don't have no business. Some of them are pedophiles, because they got a group in this country called NAMBLA. It's the North American Man Boy Love group. Research what I'm telling you about. These folks want to normalize, and they want to have as a sexual orientation pedophilia. And you know good and well who the cast of characters that's running that. It's sure not anybody that look like me. The only thing I'm saying about that. But they want to say black people is the most horrible people in the world. But I don't feel bad about the situation at all. I'm pretty sure his wife feel bad, but look at what he's done. You wasn't mad about his racism, but yet he's so-called a Christian. Then the irony of the whole thing, he has a picture with Jesse Jackson, but yet he's calling black people monkeys. Look, Jesse, I appreciate the work he's done. Is Jesse perfect? No, but I can pick that up off of any of them real quick. I sense it, kind of like the spider sense. I sense that racism off of them real quick. They can't hide it from me, so I wouldn't go nowhere near you. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Share the video, like the commentary, subscribe, and make sure you click the notification bell to find out when we post new news stories or live streams.